about kind of why now, why this car? I mean, this is a big game, obviously. Is this about going after kind of a younger audience for Porsche?
Generally speaking, it's going after new audiences and making new friends out there. And the Taycan, that's the entry now for us into the battery electric vehicle era, which is momentous for Porsche. And that's why we want to share the story about Porsche. We've been developing and producing, selling sports cars for over 70 years now. And we want to show a couple of cars through those decades in that spot, but we also want to show the Taycan, the battery electric vehicle.
All right, so Klaus, notably, and you mentioned this, there's a little bit of a history lesson embedded in this ad, and you do show some older cars as well. Tell us about what you're going for, and I do wonder, in a field where there are some notable upstarts here, maybe you're trying to show a little bit of a legacy and history and experience.
Well, we think every Porsche ever built in over 70 years has got a soul. And now we talk about soul electrified. So you want to see some of those cars that this brand stands on. I give you one example. There's a racing car in that spot, a 917K that was built purposely for winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans 1970. In 1971, it was the main feature of Steve McQueen's Le Mans movie, and that car is part of a heist of cars that are trying to catch up with a Taycan, going through a interesting scenery in Germany.
So talk to us a little bit about the Taycan. We were lucky. You brought a car here to Bloomberg. Jason and I got to sit in it with our own Hannah Elliott, as you well know, our car guru here at Bloomberg. Tell us how car sales are going. What kind of numbers are you seeing across the world? Demographically, where is it selling?
Well, generally speaking, we have just started delivering, and the United States was actually the first country in the world getting those cars on the ground, delivered to customers. So we've sold 130 last year in 2019, so that's not big numbers, but we're aiming, of course, to bring this car to the States in larger numbers. And the big swing that we see coming up is also connected to seasonality. So spring this year, you're going to see quite a few Taycans in Porsche dealerships, and hopefully also all the prospects, hand raisers, depositors, and people who've already ordered the car then being enthusiastic about that new arrival.
Tell us about the customer for the Taycan specifically. Is this, how much, I should say, does this sort of widen the aperture, as it were, to a different audience, a younger audience, a different geography? Who's going to buy this car that might not have bought a Porsche before? I
mean, is Jason your customer? Is that who you're going after? Who is it?
Well, what we can derive data from at the moment is our database with all our depositors and people who've actually ordered the car. Looking at that, that's a couple of thousand of people. So that's interesting that 50% come within the brand. So they're driving a Porsche right now, and they want to either add the Taycan to their garage, or they want to replace one of our cars. But 50% come from the outside of our current clientele. And the outside, the main competitor in the outside world that is currently then engaging with the Taycan is from Tesla. So we respect that brand, we respect them preparing the market for battery electric vehicle, but we also respect their customers now looking into driving a Porsche when it comes to battery electric.
So what I'm hearing, Klaus, is that you're saying some of them are new to the brand, new to the Porsche brand that you're bringing in.
That's right, yeah. 50% are new to the brand. So they have never owned a Porsche before, and a conquest rate of 50% and more always is a very good indication for having the right strategy in our business model, at least.
So do I hear that a 911 will ultimately, I know, go electric? I think it's the last line that you're going to do it. It will happen eventually?
Well, everything is going to go electric eventually,
That's true. You guys have made that commitment, yeah.
That's the name of the game. And yes, the 911 will most probably be the very last one in the line for that transition. And it might happen, in a decade from now. We don't know. We just know that from our current plans, 50% of our cars sold in 2025 will actually have a plug. So will either be battery electric vehicle or will be a plug-in hybrid.